Welcome back. All right, so we're up to number 22 on the countdown of the all-time power rankings of THG, and we're up to Columbus. The Columbus Blue Jackets, ahead of a bunch of teams, but in general, it hasn't been a fantastic run. You will notice that this has got some heartbeats to it. Moments when this team was pretty good. 2018, 2019, of course, they upset the Tampa Bay Lightning in the first round of the playoffs. 2019, 2020, they then upset the Toronto Maple Leafs in the playoff round. But since then, it's been some lean times. So they're 22nd overall. But in terms of points percentage, since 2017, 2018, they have a 402 points percentage, which is 29th overall in the National Hockey League. So the power rankings, pretty kind to Columbus, comparatively speaking, with their numbers. And their current power rankings position, 29th. Again, January 20th being the use for that. So when we look at the Columbus Blue Jackets, they had some strong runs. That first year, 2017, 2018, they were as high as third. I believe that was the year they had the, 16-game winning streak? It was insane. They were lowest at 22nd, their average 11.46, the highest it's been. 2018, 2019, they got as high as 7th. 2019, 2020, they got as high as 6th. Their average was dropping, though. It goes from 11.46 to 13.04 and then down to 19.26. And since then, it's been in the 20s. So 24.31 for the 2020-2021 season. Highest they got that year was 15th. The following year, their average comes up to 21.15. 14th was the highest they got on the power rankings. Last year, 29.58 was their average. The highest they got was 25th. This year, the highest they've got is 20th, and their average is 27.13. So this year's been rough. Last year was rough. The overall picture is of a team that we do need to talk a bit about this. I want to get into that after looking at the rows. First row, 18 times they've been in the first row, 30 times in the second row, 51 times in the third row, 58 times in the bottom row of the power rankings. So when we look at their top scorer over this period of time, Zach Werenski is the top scorer. 372 games, 69 goals, 154 assists, 223 points. Mildly surprised he comes in just ahead of Boone Jenner, but he does. Bobrovsky is the best goalie during this period, and that's one of the storylines with Columbus, is the mass exodus of players we saw. When Bobrovsky leaves, Panarin leaves. Bobrovsky 74, 46, and 7 with a 917 save percentage before he left the team to go to Florida. So it was tough to replace Bobrovsky. I don't know that they ever really truly have. Korpisalo had a decent run there. Elvis had a decent run too. But they haven't had that number one goaltender like they had with Bobrovsky. Their last playoff appearance being in 2020. Obviously with the chart you can see it got kind of rough for them pretty quickly after that. And when we talk about teams and all this wonderful stuff with these power rankings, Columbus is one of those ones that's a bit odd. So there are teams I talk a lot about and teams I don't talk a lot about. In Columbus, I don't talk as much about them as other teams. Obviously, with all the Mike Babcock stuff before the season, I did, but that wasn't for team reasons as much as coach reasons. And it really feels like it's because this is a team that has lacked a real identity, and this year's kind of showing that. Like first and second period this year, they've been good. Third period, it just the bottom falls out, and there's a lack of identity and focus. And I think there needs to be a real concrete plan. Like they kind of fixed the blue line in the offseason. However, the results have not been fantastic this season. So there needs to be some kind of a plan. Now, whether that plan from the top down involves making some changes near the top, if the general manager position ends up changing in terms of who occupies that office, I wouldn't be entirely surprised. I don't know if there's going to be a coaching change at the end of this season. Obviously, it's too late in the season to save it right now. But I do wonder, does Jarmo Kekalainen stick around as GM past this season? Do they look in another direction? Columbus is a team that did look like back in 2019 that this could be a team to watch going forward. Especially coming off the 2017-2018 season where they had that really long winning streak. So there was good reason to have optimism. That optimism has been replaced by not optimism. And I looked at this team last year and felt like, and that was before the 2022-2023 season, I thought, you know what, these guys could push for a wild card spot. And they didn't. So this year I was far less gung-ho about them, and There's parts of this team to like, but it does feel like there needs to be a direction. There needs to be some sort of a formal plan. And maybe this is a team that's resisting. So I talked about San Jose at 23rd, right? And how San Jose resisted the actual rebuild until they really couldn't resist it any longer. Is Columbus in that position as well? You sign Gaudreau not this past summer, but the summer before. You go out and you fix your blue line. Is this a team that is trying to, fix the holes in a sinking ship? And really, in all honesty, should just look for a new ship and just rebuild it from the bottom up. So we'll see what they do in the coming months. That might tip their hand as to what the plan is. My guess is they do some sort of a sell at the deadline. But there's enough good pieces here that if you want to be optimistic about next season, I can't say you're wrong. But there are enough issues with this team that if you're pessimistic and you're like, you know what, I don't know what to think anymore, I kind of agree with that as well. So I do think this is a team that needs a real true identity. I think this is a team that needs that plan going forward. And I do think until they have that in place, they're going to have their struggles in the real standings as well as in the power rankings. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event that you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.